Hey, we outside this week. I'm about to take it to the streets. Hey, I'm back with season 2, episode 3 of Entrepredope, a series of talks, tips, stories, and behind the scenes of being a dope entrepreneur. I'm your entrepreneur coach, Tanisha Penix, and in today's episode, we're taking it to the streets to get different perspectives and stories of entrepreneurship from some of my friends and family. Now, I haven't done this style of show before, and everything is unscripted. So I'm stoked about the answers we'll get. I believe it's safe to say that entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, and that's okay. I definitely am not one of those, if you ain't an entrepreneur, then what is you doing type of people. Let me be clear. Ain't nothing wrong with not being an entrepreneur, and there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. As long as you at least enjoy what you do, I can get behind that. So we're going on location to learn what entrepreneurs, non-entrepreneurs, or aspiring entrepreneurs think of entrepreneurship. Whew, say that 5 times fast. All right, let's go. Hey, Janine.
Hey.
So I got an icebreaker.
Okay.
What was Usher doing at 7 o'clock?
The singer,
Yep.
probably letting it burn. That's probably what he was doing.
What was Usher doing at 7 o'clock?
And it's drop top, cause it does it. Dun, 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 dun. 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top cruising the street.
That's right. All right. What was Usher doing at 7 o'clock?
Oh, I forgot what he was doing. Don't know.
7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top cruising the street. Hey.
Oh, it's been so long since I listened to some Usher songs. So, 7 o'clock, cruising the streets, cruising the streets.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. I want to say 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top.
What was Usher doing at 7 o'clock?
What was Usher doing at 7 o'clock? I don't know.
7 o'clock on the dot. He was in his drop top cruising the street.
Usher doing at 7 o'clock on the dot. He was in his drop top, I believe.
Right. You know what? Usher was in his drop top.
Yes.
Cruising
all
the
right.
streets.
What's the first thing you think of when I say the word entrepreneurship?
What is the first thing
Yeah.
I think of? I think of freedom. I think of the ability to make your own way, but I also think of a lot of responsibility.
Independent.
Money. Your own money. Dang, the first thing I thought of was hard. Oh man. It's more than that,
That's
but
real.
that was
It's
the
real.
first thought.
I think of boss. Like being your own boss, not having to answer to anybody. You running your own thing, doing your own thing.
What do you think it takes to be an entrepreneur?
Wow, I think it takes grit. I think it takes a risk.
Stick to itness. Gotta stay in there.
Dedication, hard work. You have to be a hustler. I don't know nobody who can have their own business without having a hustle mentality.
One, you need to have the drive and the gumption. Two, you need to have the motivation. Three, you need to have the network, the connections, the community, and you need to have that personal relationship building skills that allows you to be able to connect to the community, understand their needs, and be able to provide the service and goods for that need.
Come on now. You better. What do you think it takes to be an entrepreneur?
Money. It takes money to make money.
Hard work and perseverance, commitment, patience,
dedication, perseverance, certainly. Because a lot of businesses, fail, statistically speaking, and sometimes some of the most successful people fail repeatedly before they become, you know, truly successful.
It takes perseverance. It takes a lot of perseverance because there are trials and tribulations in the journey, and you have to have grit. You have to be able to fall down, get back up, get back up, get back up, get back up all the time. So definitely perseverance.
Tell me about the biggest entrepreneur or biz mess up that you learned from.
That would probably be my first endeavor. I released a t-shirt line and I had like 400 something shirts. That was like, I'm gonna just sell them all. And I only ended up selling like 75. And it took me months to get the rest of them off. I should have just did like a pre-order and see if people were interested versus buying in bulk. Now I'm like, oh man, I gotta sell these, and they ain't selling.
I own a Sprinter van, so I got into like the transportation industry. So I own a Sprinter van, and when I first got my Sprinter van, I got a driver, and I did not get a tracking device in it. And I handed the keys off to him. He signed a contract and everything, but he was supposed to get to a larger company. He never showed up. Yes, and basically tried to hijack my Sprinter van and take off with it. I got it back like over a week later. It was crazy, but that was like the biggest one because sometimes, when you're new in business, you expect for things to go well, but it's like you have to always have all types of precautions in place, whether it be, refining like your contract to include like small little details. You can't be very vague, with your business. So it's always about having all types of security measures to protect yourself, protect employees. So that was a costly one. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about the biggest entrepreneur or business mess up you learned from.
Well, I pretty much lost like $21,000. I raised money from friends and family to help fund an upcoming like launch and things that I wanted to do, and I was just moving too fast. Not really taking time to really think things through fully. And so I got the money and already didn't have good financial habits in my personal side of things. So that translated to, how I stewarded that money as well. And that was a huge lesson. I call it my $21,000 lesson, but the lessons I learned from that literally have shaped so much of how I approach business, how I approach money, and how I approach just making plans in my business. But I'll never forget it, and I am thankful that I'll be able to share the things that I learned with other people too. So the value from the failure does continue to go on when you realize it.
If you were an entrepreneur, how would you handle people or customers asking you for discounts or hookups?
That's an interesting question because you got to value your product and know your worth. And if you don't know your value and the value of the products that you do and the services you perform, then you become desperate and you allow people to set their own price. And you got to understand that they don't have your best interest at heart. They're trying to get the best deal for them. But you figure if you give everybody, a deal, then at the end of the day, you're not going to have enough to do the things that you need to do to run your business. So the business will fail by not having the support it needs.
Why I set my prices the way they are is because I know my worth. I know what I'm putting out there is of great value. And you can either afford me or you can't. I might not be for everybody, and it's just like a Bentley or a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce. You don't see commercials for them. You just know.
Depending upon the customer, because frequent customers, because there's some customers who are loyal to your brand, so they should be treated accordingly. I'm gonna give them the hookup because they're repeated customers. If they also in turn bring additional customers, then that's another perk. So the idea of no hookups or discounts to me is, if you're in business, that's how it's almost like free marketing. Because if you get a hookup or give a hookup to a customer because they're a repeat customer, the word gonna get out.
Right.
And if you give additional hookups, at some point in time, yeah, it's discounted off your regular price, but more quantity sometimes makes up for fewer customers, fewer sales, right? So it all depends.
If you were an entrepreneur, how would you handle people or customers asking you for a discount or a hookup?
I would actually say no. I always look at it as would you go to Best Buy, would you go to Apple, would you go to all these different conglomerates of companies that have been around for years and they're doing millions of dollars a year. Why would you ask me for a discount? Because I'm trying to get to their level. So I would say no. I would say treat me like you would treat J.C. Penney's or Walmart.
See, that's why I don't get into it, because people don't respect the business part of it, and everybody wants a hookup. They think everything is free or everything can be discounted. And so how am I supposed to grow as a business if I'm continuing giving out discounts and freebies? And so I don't think that is cool or should be accepted. So my prices are my prices. You either like it or move on.
From my own experiences, I wasn't an entrepreneur, but I like braided people's hair, and I always like used to take that into consideration. But as now, I probably wouldn't be as ready to do that, because I understand that it takes so much money, it takes so much time, and your time is valuable, and whatever service that you're offering is valuable. And if you can go to a regular store and you see the price tag and you pay whatever it say on there, you should be able to pay exactly whatever an entrepreneur, says, this is my price. If it's not for you, then you just don't need their services.
What's a misconceived perception about being an entrepreneur?
That success is like overnight. People don't see all of the mess ups, all of the failures, all of the money, all of the money that you put into it. People don't see any of that. They just kind of see like when you happen to just glow up, because of course, that we got social media, and of course that's what we highlight mostly. Like, we show the good parts, but they don't get to see all of the time that it took beforehand, because a lot of this stuff is like years in the making, and they don't see that. So they only see like the little huge glow up, and it was just like, no, blood, sweat, and tears went into this, okay, and so much time.
Right,
so
right.
yeah.
It's probably misconceived that you can just devote all of your time to it, because I work a full-time job. So this is kind of like a side hustle, and I have to, put it in kind of where I can squeeze it in. So not every entrepreneur does this as their bread and butter.
What's a misconceived perception about being an entrepreneur?
That you have time. A lot of people think just because I'm an entrepreneur, I have time, I can do whatever I want, which is true. But when you are an entrepreneur, especially when you start on your own, you're everything. Like, you're the person answering the phone, you're the person doing the emails, you're the person picking up product, you're the person ordering product. So you don't really have that time that people think you just have, because you don't clock in on someone's clock.
I think a misconception is that when you are an entrepreneur, you're just free and there's nothing, you're not responsible to anyone but yourself, when really you become responsible to your customers, your clients, to God, and, and stewarding the vision. So I think that's a big one.
Can you list some benefits of working for yourself?
Freedom. I think that's the major one. Freedom. You're a little bit more flexible with your schedule. And I think that's the beauty of it.
Doing things how you want to do it, not having to answer to anybody else about it, not having to ask for permission on how to do it. You can run it how you want to run it and do it the way you want to do it. I think that's the biggest perk.
Benefits of working by myself or for myself, scheduling. Like, if I want to say, hey, today I'm staying in the bed till 12 o'clock noon, then I'm in the bed. But if I'm on somebody's clock, you getting that 30-minute break and that's it. But I can do that. I can figure out other little maneuver things like vacation time or just time with my kids or family, anything like that.
If you were to own a business, what would it be?
It would definitely be in the business of giving things away to people who are in need, people who need clothing, shoes, kind of like when I did the Blessing Store. It will be providing a service like that.
Awesome.
Probably something that that's a passion, that I have as a passion, which is financial literacy. Because I can't think of anything else other than maybe something sports related as far as teaching kids basketball or football. But it would probably be financial literacy.
That's cool.
If I was to own a business, it honestly would probably be a childcare, just because that's like my thing. I've done it my whole life. I actually dabbled in it a little bit, but where I was at, it just wasn't a good place for me. But I think that would be, if I had any kind of business, that probably would be it, because I know the way. The business side of it, not so much. That's why I'm not an entrepreneur. But I'm sure I would have plenty of help, you know, from my friends who are in business, my brother and my sister, that would, you know, get me together.
It would probably be my own shoe store. I have it to a science, and I am the shoe king.
And you know what? I agree. Shoes be on point. If you were to own a business, what would it be?
Probably a quaint little tea house.
So I'm actually in the process of making my own business plan. So I want to name it Line Incorporated. My business is going to be a consulting firm as well as an education firm. Consulting in politics, because I do plan to go into politics myself. Consulting in business aspects, consulting in everyday life. Education part comes from a program I actually started at my school, Westchester University, and I plan to carry it to University of Pennsylvania when I attend, called BEATS, B-E-T-E, Black Excellence in True Education. So from those programs, I do hope to inspire the world, help our community, especially our young Black kings and queens, help them to reach that next level and consult with them and help them build bridges.
Describe an entrepreneur in one word.
Fearless.
Bold.
Okay.
Oh, yep.
A servant.
Motivated.
Creative.
Driven, because you have to be.
I like to say rich. Ooh, that's what I like to say. Because
That's-
if you stick to it, you're going to succeed. You in your element. You have to be rich. You just have to.